Next question. Will Republicans consider Biden illegitimate for 4 years? Yeah, I think that this is sort of a good question to be asking. The questions about will Biden really be sworn in seem like a waste of time. The questions about can Donald Trump really do this, that, all of these 6, 7, 8 different things that he's floated or others have floated as ways to maybe steal the election. We mentioned some of them earlier, lawsuits or seizing voting machines, having governors send different electors. None of that stuff is going to happen. I think the right question is, how corrosive is Donald Trump insisting on this stuff to democracy? And in particular, the way in which Donald Trump maybe never conceding and insisting he actually won will affect the Republican Party through Joe Biden's first 2 years and 4 years in the Oval Office. Now, I think there's two sides of it. One is how will it affect Republican officials? And the second part is how will it affect Republican voters? Let's do voters first, because I think that one's really easy. I think it's very clear at this point that the combination of Trump insisting just listen to the voicemails I get. People are convinced. Trump insisting he really won, combined with Newsmax and OAN and, all of the different the different hosts and characters that have been insisting Trump actually won, that will leave a significant portion of the 75 million who voted for Trump believing Joe Biden is an illegitimate president for the duration of Joe Biden's term. There's no question about that. One is easy for me. The voters have been affected. Many believe Trump won, etc. Full stop. The more interesting question in terms of Biden's governance, because Biden can't really do anything about millions of Republicans thinking he's an illegitimate president. The real question is about Biden's governance. And will Republican elected officials, Republicans in the Senate, Republicans in the House of Representatives, and Republican governors around the country, will they in some way resist working with Biden in any way, specifically by failing to recognize him as a legitimate president? And I think it comes down to how visible Trump will be after January 20th. If we've already seen more and more Republicans just say Biden won. Mitch McConnell even congratulated Biden last week. We covered that. Trump was very triggered by it. If Donald Trump just sort of evaporates politically, fades away on January 20th or before or slightly after, I think you will see the vast majority of Republicans go back to dealing with Joe Biden the way they dealt with Barack Obama, which is there will be some who said Barack Obama wasn't really born here and isn't a legitimate president. But for the most part, they did the normal Republican things: obstruct, pretend to be worried about the debt and deficit, call things government takeovers anytime the Democratic president wants to do something. I think that's what you will see most Republicans go back to. Now, the difference is there are some really wacky Congress people elect ready to be sworn in the House of Representatives in just days. And I think that regardless of what Trump does, there's QAnon people who are entering Congress. You have to understand the impact of that. I think they will continue to say their absolutely wacky stuff for the duration of their terms. And hopefully they will be so ostracized by left and right that they will lose in 2022. That would be the hope. It may not happen. We may see more QAnon stuff in 2022. I just don't know yet. So that's basically the lay of the land. I think that what Trump has done has irreversibly put millions of his supporters in the mindset that Biden is not legitimate. I'm hearing from them in my voicemail every single week. But the real question in terms of Biden for governance is how will Republican senators and members of Congress consider him? And I think for the most part, they will see him as the legitimate president.